My guest today is Marcin Wapsinski. He is a certified divorce coach and transition and recovery coach, as well as the founder of Awakening Coaching. He is also the co-author of the book Power Talk Perspectives on Power, Passion, Perseverance, and Purpose. At Awakening Coaching, Marcin believes that everyone has the ability to create an environment that generates success. He empowers men and women going through divorce by giving them a blueprint in which to navigate through the divorce process. I want to take a moment to speak with you about BetterHelp, a sponsor of the Katrina Johnson Show. You know I'm big on inspiring people to live their best lives. But sometimes we need a little more than words of inspiration. When mental health interferes with your daily routine and lifestyle, you need someone to confide in that can help you with sorting through your emotions. That's exactly what BetterHelp is all about. It's professional therapy done securely online and is available to clients worldwide. With BetterHelp, you can get your needs assessed and be matched with your own licensed professional therapist. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your therapist. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. It's more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. Remember, living your best life begins with taking care of your mental health. BetterHelp, a sponsor of the Katrina Johnson Show, wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit betterhelp.com/KJ Show. That's BetterHelp, HELP, and join the over 500,000 people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. And here is a special offer for the Katrina Johnson Show listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/KJ Show. Thank you, Marcin, for joining me today on the Katrina Johnson Show. I'm so excited to have you on as a guest, and I'm excited for us to get this conversation going. Are you ready?
I am ready. Thank you, Katrina, for having me on.
You are so welcome. So I just want to start by saying you are a certified divorce coach, and that is a remarkable service that you provide to people who are probably going through emotional really stresses and the impact that it can have not only on the couple, but the family as a whole. However, you've also experienced divorce firsthand. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Great. Okay. So because of that, I know, not great to that, sorry about that, but, and I'm sorry that happened, but it happens. I've experienced it myself. But what I wanted to do is just to start off by you giving us your story. I know that you were married with 2 kids, and one day your family unit just shifted. Share with us the day your life as a husband and father took a change.
Yeah, so it was 4 years ago on the January 5th, 4th, when I was going back after Christmas, after the holidays, after New Year's. Me and my former wife, we took 3 weeks apart from us because our marriage was not working the way it should be. So what we have decided is, hey, why don't we just take 3 weeks time apart and see where this goes to. So I did. So I moved out to my parents' house with my children because during holiday season, part of my parental agreement, I had my children with me. And after holidays, after Christmas, after the New Year's, it was already time to go back because for 3 weeks I have not talked to my wife. You know, we haven't communicated via telephone or email, text message. There was no communication at all. So I really missed her, right?
Right.
And so it was Sunday evening. It was January. I don't recall, was it 2nd or 3rd? Kids were going back to school. I was going back to work. Sunday evening, usually that's when I drop off my children. And as we were driving back home, it was pretty strange feeling where no one was really speaking in a car. And what was going through my mind is, what will that be like, going back home, that feeling. So as we arrived, I opened up my garage doors. I parked in the car because you enter our house, through the garage inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got home, no one was home. My wife was not home. It was really dark. So the kids running in the house, they lit up all the light switches, all the lights, and all the lights came out. And it was pretty empty. Kids, running. I brought in my suitcase. I left it in a living room. I wasn't unpacking or anything. And I could tell that the children really missed their home.
Yes.
They missed sleeping in their bed. And so did I.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that feeling. And we settled. And then after half an hour, my wife came home. She went grocery shopping. And, when she was unloading the bags, I helped her. We put all our grocery bags on the kitchen countertop. And as we were, taking out the grocery out of the bags, putting them away, my wife and I, we started talking. And I knew at the moment that, something is off. Something doesn't feel right. She was standing in front of me on the other side of the kitchen island. And as we're unpacking, I'm starting to have a conversation with her. And she would not look me in the eye. She would not look at me. She would just look downward.
Mm.
And as we started talking, I said, hey, Heidi, it's been 3 weeks. As we discussed, we took our time apart. And I'm happy to be home. I missed you. And I'm coming back home.
Okay.
I'm very happy. But you know what? It's just, like I said, something was off. The energy, I could just felt it, that something was off. So as soon as I said that, hey, I'm moving back in, she responded, no, you're not.
Oh, my.
And
that came as a surprise, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, it was. I was really caught off guard.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that, she did not want me back home. And I said, hey, it's been 3 weeks. Like we said, I'm paying for the mortgage. I'm paying for the bills and everything else. This is my home as well. I missed you. I miss home. I miss sleeping in my own bed.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, you're not. You cannot move back in. And, there were no fights. There were no arguments. But what it led to is now, it was all planned where, she called the police. Sheriff came in. And I didn't understand why she would do that, but then she told the police officer that she did not feel safe around me.
Oh, wow.
So the police officer listened to her story, they listened to my story, and basically what it came down to, the police officer tells us that one of you has to leave. Mm-hmm. And I was just shocked. So, I didn't even know what was happening. And I said, okay, you know what, since I have my luggage suitcase still unpacked, then I'm going to leave. Mm-hmm. But before I left, I have this vivid image in my mind. It just stuck with me. I see the whole kitchen. We're in the middle of it, where I kneel down on my right knee, and my 3-year-old daughter came by, and because my former wife back then said, say goodbye to your dad. And they didn't know what's going on too, because, there was police. There was no fight. There was no argument or anything, but it was very awkward.
Now,
and
can I ask you
daughter,
something? Can I ask you something?
Absolutely.
Your children, they were with you the whole time you and your wife took that break?
Correct. During the 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
So they're probably thinking at this point, now we're going back home and we're going to be all back together again.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So as I was kneeling down on my knee in the kitchen, my 3-year-old daughter comes in because their mommy tells them, you got to say goodbye to your daddy. Mm-hmm. So they were in shock. They were in disbelief. They didn't know what was happening. So my daughter broke down. She started crying, and she gave me this big bear hug. And she was crying, and it says she was telling me, Daddy, don't leave. Daddy, don't leave. Then later on, my 7-year-old son came out of his room because he didn't know what was happening. So, he saw his little sister, hugging me. And he came by on the side. He gave me a big bear hug too as well, and he broke down. And basically, you know what? At that moment, I turned into like a concrete statue, where my soul, my spirit just left my body, and I couldn't even move. I couldn't even breathe. And I felt like, someone, my best friend, would stab a kitchen knife in my back, and I cannot move. I cannot breathe.
Wow.
Like I was in shock. I didn't know what was happening. And then, because, they're holding on to me so for so long, then she's pulling him off of me and says, your father's got to leave now. Your father's got to leave now.
Wow.
And as I stood up, I looked at my two children, 3-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son. My goodness. I tried to stay strong, but I just broke down. I just started bawling. And, as I was walking out of the house, I left my suitcase in the living room. And I thought to myself, wow, I lost my family. I lost my home. I lost my children. I lost my self-identity. I was 35 years old, and I had no place to go.
Wow.
Like, we were living in a very big home, and you know what? If it wasn't, Katrina, for my parents, then who knows? I would probably end up homeless, or who knows if I would be speaking with you today. If I would be among the statistics of the men that commit suicide.
Yeah, I am so sorry that that happened, and even with the children, how difficult that must have been for them. I just listening to you, I just feel the, what you went through. Of course, I didn't experience it, but I can imagine that took a toll on you and the family as a whole. So was there ever a time during going through this separation that you feel like you were stuck and wanted to give up on life? I know you said you became numb and just felt like, things really, you were in a tough place. So what did you do to move forward?
You know what? It was so hard because I was the only one in my family to ever go through a divorce. I was the first one. There was no one in my family. And I didn't know back then, what divorce is. Yeah, it's a separation, but I didn't know anything. What am I getting myself into? What would that even look like? It never even crossed my mind.
Right.
Because I didn't get married to get divorced. So the whole process, you go through so much stress. You are so emotionally overwhelmed, where for the first couple months, I was walking around like a zombie. I was walking around numb. I didn't know what was going on the outside world because I was just stuck in my mind. I was stuck in my victim mindset. I was blaming myself. I cried myself to sleep because later on, that was my final straw. I said, I'm done. This is over. I cannot do this anymore. So I started searching for divorce attorneys. So I went to one. I went to the other one. And the third one asked me, hey, did she file? I'm like, I don't know. So she went to the computer. She checked, and she's like, no, she did not file, but I have some bad news for you. I'm like, what is it? Well, she put an order of protection against you. I'm like, what is that? I never got into I never got in with the law. No tickets, no nothing, there's nothing, right? Never. I didn't have to call the police or anything. And she's like, well, for 21 days, you cannot see your children. You cannot talk to them, call them, text them, email, none of them. You cannot go by their schools. You got to stay away at least 30 mile radius from your home and all that stuff. My God, that was another step in my back.
That was another blow, huh?
Another blow to me. And you know what? At that moment, how do you not give up on life? How do you not give up on life at that moment?
Right. How did you handle that? How like going through that time, what were you, because you said something that was profound, and I remember saying this you just took the words out of my mouth when I said it, and that was, I did not get married to get divorced. I remember saying that myself. And so I believe that's how it is for most people. We want to find that person that we can live the rest of our lives with. Nothing's going to be perfect, right? There are going to be challenges. There are going to be issues. But I think the goal is to be with that person until the end of time. So
Yeah. Well,
it does come as a shock when people have to go through divorce. And even if you're the one asking for the divorce, I think it might be worse than the person that's receiving the divorce papers or that didn't want the divorce. But it's hard on everybody because of the emotional.
yeah, absolutely. It just takes a toll on everyone, especially when children are involved. This is, divorces are compared to a death of a loved one. This is a traumatic life event.
Right. So you went and searched out for a divorce attorney. You're learning the steps of what has to take place, but then you're being told that you can't go near your wife at the time, your ex-wife, or the children?
Correct. Yep.
So then what?
And then here comes my best friend. I see on the Ring door camera that my best friend is changing the locks in my home.
Wow.
Yeah. I had to, because I only had my suitcase packed. I had only a little bit of the clothes, and I needed new clothes, so I had to call police so I can get an escort to my own home
to get your
clothes out of my house.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so how did you find during that time the strength to move forward, Marcin? What happened? Did you hit your rock bottom? What happened? Let's go.
That's when I did hit the rock bottom. Where, you know what, like I said, I lost my family, I lost my children, I lost my home, I lost my self-identity. I didn't know who I was. First 2 months were the hardest because, you're being emotionally overwhelmed. You're walking like a ground zombie and numb. And I didn't even know how I got to work, how I got from work. I was sitting in meetings, and I didn't even know what was going on. I was just so inside, stuck in my head, that it was super challenging. And you know what, Katrina, I was angry at the whole world. I was angry at God. I was angry at myself. I was angry at everyone. Why did this happen to me? Right? We had everything. Such a successful family. We had great careers, beautiful home, cars. We can afford anything. We can travel. We can do. Kids were in different programs. All that stuff. Why did this happen to me, God? Why? I didn't understand back then. I go to church. I pray. I'm the nicest person. I'm such a good person. Why do these things happen to nice people? Why did this happen to me? How many times I walked out of the house, just walked around the park, and I would just break down, just start tearing up. Because why me?
Right.
And then the hardest part also, too, is finances. Because now I got to pay child support. I got to pay child care. Now I got to buy clothes for my children, all these different things. What about me? I'm living at my parents' house. I was living back then paycheck to paycheck, versus before I can afford anything. And I'm like, after a couple months, I see my friends. They're enjoying themselves. They're going out. They're buying nice cars, having nice places to live. And why am I such a loser? I'm still stuck in my parents' house.
Wow.
And I made the decision because, I kept doing the same thing over and over, and I wanted different results. I didn't really understand why is this happening.
When you say you were doing the same thing over and over, what do you mean?
Yes. So what I was doing, it's the mindset that I had, the type of a mindset back then where I would just work, come home, sit on a couch, watch TV. And I asked myself, okay, so what do I do to get through this? How do I get myself out of this rock bottom? So I started searching on the internet how to get through a divorce. So I came across a book, phenomenal book that I recommend to every single person that I meet, come across, my clients. It's called The Power is Within You by Lewis Hayes. That book has helped me so much. And every single day on my way to work and from work, I would listen to Mr. Les Brown. He has helped me so much, get me through this negative mindset because I was just stuck. I was very negative. And I didn't know who I was. I had so much nastiness, so much hatred, jealousy, resentment, you name it, every negative feeling, I had it within me. I did. And after reading that book, I understood, I have learned about our inner child. I have learned about forgiveness. I have learned about self-love. And I have learned about how to move on.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And I started reading that book. And it helped me a lot.
Yes.
So that's what initially helped me a little bit, just a little bit, get me out of that slump, because that transition and recovery, it's super hard. When you get emotionally broken, when you get financially broken, it's you have. And I was too ashamed, too afraid to ask for help, because I didn't want anyone to know that we got divorced.
Okay.
I didn't seek out for any help. All I had, just a divorce attorney. He helped me with the legal matters, but there was no one there for me to help me with my emotions.
Right.
How do I deal with emotions? How do I move on? How do I heal? How do I rebuild? How do I pick up those broken pieces?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
So your strength in moving forward, you decided to do something different. You started reading and researching and found some resources and tools to help you move forward.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about, people, there's probably people out there that are wondering, what is the benefit of having a divorce coach? Can you talk to us about that a little bit?
Absolutely,
and what got
absolutely.
you? I mean, it's evident how you got into the field. So let's talk about when you got your strength. Let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about where you found strength. So you found strength in basically self-improvement, looking within, reflecting. You learned that it was necessary to forgive, right? And you had to adapt this self-love mentality. After that, as you're working it through, getting your emotions, you're strengthening on the emotional side, what happened next? How did we go from that to becoming a divorce coach?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. So the next step, what happened to me is I plateaued, with the book that I had, with the videos. Okay, got me to a certain point, but I'm like, there's so much more. I needed more help financially, because living, paycheck to paycheck was super hard. It was super hard. So I needed some extra more income. And after watching all these videos, everyone kept talking about goals. Write your goals. Write what you want in your life. Mm-hmm. So I sat down, I took some time, and I wrote down that in 2021, I got to get better. I got to rebuild myself. I got to heal. And what happened is, after, for 3 months listening to Les Brown, is like, he gave me so much motivation. He inspired me so much. He empowered me so much. We're like, wow, I would love to get in touch with him, like connect with him.
He is great, isn't he? He's one of the best mentors ever. Yes. I love Les Brown.
Yes. So, it's not out of a coincidence, because now I do know is what you are seeking is seeking you.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I found him on Facebook, where they had this program called The Power Voice. And it was a 3-month program, and I'm like, my goodness, it's just like, this is what I have been looking for, and it showed up. So I enrolled in this program, and it has been such a slight relief, because every single week we would meet, and there would be students, like 200 people on a Zoom call from all over the world, and, he would pick a couple of people to share their story, what they went through. And obviously back then I was very introverted. I had no courage. I had no self-confidence. None of that stuff. I was just very shy. I was afraid. I was living in fear and in anxiety. And, after I heard so many people's story, and Les Brown kept saying that your story can change your life. You never know who's out there going through what you're going through, And I kept listening. I'm like, wow. Okay, maybe that could be me. Maybe, what I was going through, maybe it can help other people.
Right.
And then later on, he was working along with the mindset coach, basically like a results-driven coach. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, John does this and that. He has worked with many actors, actresses, very famous people, and he has done these amazing results. And I was very impressed by this. And I actually reached out. I got my consultation. And back then, Katrina, I didn't know anything about coaching. Nothing. I didn't even know that coaches, mentors existed. So I'm like, okay, let me check this thing out and see if this is something for me. So I did. I had a 45-minute consultation call. And she told me, embrace yourself for the price that I'm going to tell you. So she's like, hey, for 6 months, it's this, and that, thousands of dollars, right?
Right.
So I'm like, wow, all the savings that I have left, I'm like, okay, what do? I had a scarcity mindset. Because if I invest all this money, everything I have saved left for my divorce, then I have nothing left. But then I asked myself, okay, I already lost it all. I did. I lost it all. So I made the decision that I'm going to go all in. I'm going to put all the chips. I'm going to bet on my life with this. I asked myself, what's the worst thing that can happen, right? I'm already plateaued. I already hit the rock bottom. How much more farther can I go? And I remember Les's quote. He said, hey, if you fall on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up.
That's
I'm
right.
like, okay.
I remember that
You know?
quote. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I can look up, and I can get up, and I will get up.
Right.
So I invested in the 6-month program. And let me tell you, Katrina, that was one of many best decisions that I have made in my life. Because in 6 months, what this coach did with me, he completely rebuilt me, that extracted that gift, that talent, that potential, opened up my mind, my eyes, my soul, my spirit, that I didn't even know that I have this greatness within me.
Awesome.
Like Les kept saying, you have greatness within you. You have greatness within you. The world needs you, right?
Right.
And that stuck in me. And I'm like, I do have greatness within me. So I studied really hard because, it was really uncomfortable to do morning routines, evening routines, doing this gratitude, doing these affirmations, self-confidence for me, doing all these different things, watching these videos in the morning, in the night. But I really have dedicated my life straight 2 years till this day today. I do what I coach. And after I saw this whole transformation of my life, that, wow, it is really possible to rebuild, to heal your life.
Wow.
So then I started dating a woman, and she's like, why don't you become a coach, right, or a divorce coach? So I started searching online, and I found a program out of Florida, a phenomenal program where I actually enrolled, because I'm like, I heard Napoleon Hill said that, hey, if there's a problem in our society, find a solution and make a business out of it.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, now I have this mindset. Now I have all the tools. I have experience. I went through this traumatic life event, and, I went from rock bottom to rebuilding myself. There's so many men out there and women that actually are going through what I'm going through right now. Why not help them? There was no one there for me. So I became, certified coach. I had to pass tests. I got accredited and all those different things. And as a divorce coach, like what I do for my clients, because when I really look at this, is who is this divorce coach? Thinking partner, sounding board. Because if you are, I made many bad decisions during the divorce process because I was so emotionally overwhelmed. And I made decisions based on my emotions because I was angry, I was upset, I hated her, I had stomach knots when I seen her and all those different things. It's just like I turned into this nasty person that I did not even know that I had within me. So now, as a coach, when someone, when I coach my clients, clients are in various stages, pre-divorce, during the divorce, post-divorce, I help them in the whole process from A through Z. Imagine, Katrina, going to China for your first time, not speaking any of the language, and not knowing where to go.
Right.
This is what happens. This is what happens to an individual when they go through a divorce.
Wow, that is such an analogy right there. That's
imagine that.
Yeah.
So as a coach, thinking partner, you really need very strong support system. Back then, I didn't know that, hey, I needed a financial advisor. Back then, I didn't know I needed a therapist. Back then, I didn't know that, hey, I needed a nutritionist because I didn't eat properly. I didn't sleep. I didn't work out. I didn't study. I didn't invest in myself. None of that stuff. Because I couldn't even think clearly.
Yes.
I didn't even know who I was. How am I going to get through this? So with Divorce Coach, he helps with so much. Basically, it's like your concierge where you don't have to worry about anything. He's there with you, making the best decisions, because the decisions that you make now will reflect the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
So do you want to make, your decision based on your emotions and then pay 5-10 years later? You wish, hey, I wish I did this or that. Regret? Yeah. Do you want to regret?
Right,
No.
because we have to remember the choices we make, we have to suffer the consequences,
Absolutely. So there's just so much more with goal setting, right? I help make the best decision, like prep, affidavit, how to fill out the affidavit, what questions you should be asking your attorney, right? How should you be handling the business of your divorce? What the communication should be with your ex, right? Because there's just so many different personalities that you have to deal with.
Right.
Hey, what decisions I make? There's so much, co-parenting decisions.
Right.
Life after, how do I transition? How do I recover? This is what we do.
Right.
Well, you know what? I have created a safe space for men, for women, that they can come in, because it's a very emotional process. It's a very traumatic process.
I do
And
understand.
if you don't have the tools, if you don't know how to deal with the emotions, then how can you do it by yourself?
That's true.
There's just no way. Many people say that, yeah, I got this. People say, you got this, you're strong enough. You are, right? But the thing is, people say, yeah, that time heal wounds. It will, but let me ask you this question. Maybe you were dating out there. Maybe you have friends or neighbors or coworkers that have gone through a divorce and they haven't gone through the proper healing. Are they 100%? Are they living their best life after divorce? Maybe some are, but most of them aren't.
Right.
And why is that? Because you know what? You haven't done anything in yourself. You haven't changed. You are still your old self. When we enter a new relationship, you're expecting different results. But my question to you, I ask how? How? You are in a new environment, but you are with your still old mindset, your old self, and you're expecting different results. It doesn't work out. Why second marriages are the highest divorces?
Yeah, because a lot of people carry with them from their previous relationships the baggage, right? If they haven't healed.
Absolutely. Carry their traumas, carry their baggage. And then now the other man, woman, let's say that they haven't been divorced now, now you're become part of their life, is now you're dumping it off onto them.
Right.
And then what is happening? We have this vicious cycle where my goal is to break those generational curses.
Right. Absolutely. And I commend you for taking your pain and turning it into your purpose. And now you are serving people who are going through what you've already experienced. And because you chose not to just go along with the status quo or just live life as though the divorce never happened, you decided to go within and really work on you. And that is the reason why you are doing what you're doing today, is because you took that time to self-reflect and to say, hey, I'm going to work on me. I'm going to do better. I want a better life. I want to be able to help people. And you already knew you couldn't help anyone else until you helped yourself, right?
Absolutely. You can. You cannot help anyone until you help yourself. How can you give someone something if you don't have it within you?
Right.
You can't.
And you mentioned mindset earlier. And so your mindset was that of moving forward. So my question to you right now, do you believe that our mindset and the way we think about ourselves and life in general play a role in how successful we are?
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. So there's just so much, Katrina, that this is such a deep topic that we can go on, but I'm just going to go a little bit over the surface. So success, right? Because I had a decision when I hit the rock bottom. Either I have a victim mindset or I become victorious. So you have a decision. What do I want in my life, right? So I had a calling. I had a purpose. And I made the decision where I'm not going to live. This is not me. I had much more within me. I felt this. And let me tell you that what has saved me too, because I had those bad thoughts, was my daughter's voice when she said, "Daddy, don't leave. Daddy, don't leave." So that kept me going.
Wow.
And also my faith. God is number one.
Yes.
Because you know what? I heavily lean on Him as well.
Yes.
To help me, to guide me through my life. And going back to mindset. So what I have learned about our human psychology is how you think, right? Everyone says, hey, what you think about, you will become, right? What you focus on, you will attract, right?
Right.
But then there's just so much more to it. What does that mean? How do you practice? Because 95% of us, the habits, every daily habit thing that we do over and over.
Yes.
And we do want to change. But we do not know how.
That's right. Because we've been programmed, right? And
Absolutely.
Subconsciously, we're just living life based on our experiences and don't realize that we can change the way we do things.
All right. So that was me back then, that I wanted to change. Even in my marriage, I wanted to change, but I didn't know how. I didn't know back then.
Right.
But now when that coach has done that for me, he showed me that, hey, how you can reprogram yourself, how you can rebuild yourself, then like, wow, it just blew me away, because I'm like, now I have all these tools that I can become whoever I want.
Yes.
I can rebuild myself to the person that I want, and I can have anything in my life that I want as well.
Right.
And when I started, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
When I started practicing these tools every single day, and I started seeing the results, I'm like, wow, this is phenomenal. This is working. So I kept reading more books, studying, and that's what I do till this day. You know, I'm self-development. You know, investing in myself is huge. You know, working with coaches, mindset coaches, business coaches, life coaches. It just, that's what helps you get to the next level. And you know what? When also to your self-image has a lot to play. How many people you know that have goals in their life? So, for example, we have New Year's coming up. How many people will have New Year's resolution?
Right.
Almost 90%. And so on. And what happens? Hey, next year I'll stop smoking, or I'll start drinking, or I'm going to go lose weight. I'm going to do this and all those different things. Now, with the knowledge and understanding that I have, is all these people will fail, or most of them will fail, because they go 2-3 weeks, couple months or so, and then what happens? They go back to them old self. And I didn't know why this was happening. But now I do, and that's why coaching is so powerful.
Right.
Because, you know, the programs that you're running on, that you're talking about, that subconscious mind that is inside of you, right? Why so many couples struggle? Why so many marriages struggle? Because, like they say, hey, I cannot change you, you cannot change me, right? Because we do not know how.
Right. And that's true, though. That's true. We can't change another person. People have to change themselves. And if they don't have the tools or don't know how, then they're stuck.
Absolutely.
And I want to go a little deeper with that. I think you got to have the desire to change. There are some people who don't want to change, that they have that fixed mindset. And I'm so big on that. That's really my brand, is getting people to understand that you need to have a growth mindset, and that self-improvement is lifelong. It's forever. You know?
It's a journey, and it's a lifestyle change.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about self-love, because you mentioned it earlier, how you were able to start just focusing on yourself. So I do believe in self-love, and I believe it's important for our well-being and living our best lives. What is your point of view regarding self-love, especially with people going through a divorce?
Well, not many people do not know what self-love is or self-care is, especially going through divorce. How can you self-love yourself when your whole life has turned upside down? How can you be happy in the worst time of your life? It's pretty tough, right? To be happy, to be grateful that, hey, I'm grateful that my divorce happened. It's super hard.
Right.
But you know what? Because what do we go through? We go through blame. We go through self-sabotage. We are so mean and so nasty to ourselves and to our exes. Because I see so much parental alienation. I see so much brainwashing, whether it's the ex or your husband or it's the ex-wife. And I didn't understand why two grown adults that, have been soulmates, have been best friends, now are emotionally and financially destroying each other on this battlefield. I didn't understand why do we do that to one another. But after studying forgiveness and self-love, and one thing that really stuck to my mind when I was learning about the universal laws, about the law of attraction and those different things, and it just like the Lewis Hay says, that your thoughts, right, everything that you focus on, that you put out, is like a boomerang. So what you're wishing the other person, it's coming back to you. Wow. So that really hit me. Because she's like, why don't you put a mirror in front of you right now? Put a mirror in front of you right now and start blaming, hating, being nasty to the other person. Who are you doing this to?
Good point.
Who are you doing this to? Right?
Yes.
So look, all this, I'm like, wow, everything that, I was angry, upset at her, I was actually, that was going on inside of me.
Right. And
she's like, okay, so now that you're doing this in yourself, she's like, did you know that there's a little boy, that there's a little 6-7-year-old boy living inside of you? And I'm like, wow. So she's like, if you're sitting in a white room, there's just 4 walls, there's a white table and 2 white chairs. I want you to sit down in one chair, and on the opposite side of you, there is a 6-year-old version of yourself. And I want you to get mean, to get nasty, scream and yell at this 6-7-year-old boy or girl. How does that feel to you?
Wow.
How does that feel to you? Do you want to feed him cocaine? Do you want to feed him drugs? Do you want to give him weed? Is this who you are as a mother or a father? Is this how you treat your children?
Wow.
Is this your self-love to yourself? And my goodness,
that was
when I realized that.
Wow, that was really deep. When you look at it like that.
Yeah. It has woken me up. Like,
right.
What am I doing to myself?
Right. And what
like
we do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just getting goosebumps throughout my whole body right
now. Yes. Because when we do, what we do to ourselves is setting up the parameters of what others will do to us. Like self-love, if you really love yourself, you're going to treat yourself, with the utmost respect. Therefore, you're going to reciprocate that. I mean, you're going to get that back, right? If you don't care about your well-being, yourself, and you're not cognitive of how you're treating yourself as a person, you don't love yourself, you can't even look in the mirror at yourself, then what do you expect for another person to do? Because you're going to give out, what it is, whatever's inside of you is going to come out. And people can pick up on that.
Absolutely. And then you know what? Because this is like so profound and so powerful, because my former wife said, hey, you're not a good father. You don't want to spend time with your children. And I would fire back, get into arguments, fight, and all those different things. But then after learning all these different things, I understood what is actually going on inside of her.
Yes.
How unsettled, how much anger, how much frustration is living inside that person. So I started praying for her. I started praying to God to open up her mind, to open up her soul, to open up her heart, to shower her with love, with positive energy.
Wow.
Because sometimes people don't know any better.
Right.
They don't know how to help themselves, right? So I understood those things.
Yes.
And I completely have changed, because back then I couldn't look in the mirror and say, wow, I love you.
Right.
I am so proud of you.
Yes.
I love the way I feel. I love the way I look. I didn't know about none of those things.
Right. There
But
was
now I
somebody,
do.
and there was a quote, I don't know if it was Maya Angelou or someone else that said, and I'm not quoting it right probably, but we teach people how to treat us.
Mm-hmm.
And we do, based on, again, our perception of ourselves and how we treat ourselves. And what was profound with what you just said is that you decided to pray for your ex-wife. And so that is powerful. It's just as powerful as forgiving someone that's hurt you. Because if you don't forgive, because you mentioned that earlier, right? Forgiveness is very key. If you can move past the hurt and the pain because you're holding on to unforgiveness, you're the one that is being held in bondage, because that person that mistreated you or offended you, hurt you, they're going on with their lives. If you're holding on to that forgiveness, you're just going to stay in that same mindset, that bitterness, and that is not growth minded. And you can't move on and move forward and improve your life if you're not willing to forgive. And I know that's a really deep topic, because a lot of people don't believe in forgiveness because they never forget. But it's not that you won't forget what happened. You'll remember it. But one thing I do when it comes to that, if I know that I've forgiven someone for an offense, but then I think about it again and it comes up, I just forgive them again. And that's something I believe God showed me. Just continue to forgive. Just continue to forgive. And then when I do that, I can go on with my day. So my hat goes off to you for even taking that stance to pray for your ex and wishing her nothing but good, because that is key to you having and living your best life, because you can.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. No, you know what, Katrina, you hit the nail on the head, because I have learned that forgiveness is your key to freedom. It's your key to freedom. Forgiveness is key to freedom.
It is.
It does take work. It does take a lot of inner work. You need really someone to help you. You really do. Because you know what? Without that coach, I would not be here today where I am. And that's why I, made a decision. And I believe that God has chosen me as his tool, as his vessel, to go global and help our men, our women that are emotionally suffering, that are bleeding very badly, that do not know how to help themselves. And they are crying right now for our help.
Yes.
They are.
Yes.
Because they are living in pain, they are living in sorrow.
Right. And I know you mentioned earlier that, for the most part, people just don't know how to move on or to, take on a better mindset. What do you think hinders some people from overcoming obstacles, whether it's divorce or any other stumbling block in life? Is it just the fact that they don't know how, or do you think it's other factors?
You know what? It comes down to they do not know how. Mm-hmm. They do not know. They want to forgive. They want to, but they do not know how. And what it comes down to is many clients that I work with, and just people that I talk to, is when they bring that up, right? They say, "Hey, I'll forgive, but I won't forget." I get it, and then you know what? This is your choice. This is your decision. The way I look at this, because at least for me, in my opinion, I have a different outlook on life. If you really think about on life, someone hurt me, someone stole my money, someone did me wrong, and all those things. Okay, now I know that maybe, they didn't know any better, or they needed that money more than I did.
Yeah.
They needed more than I did, and why would I, for the rest of my life, let me ask you this, for the rest of my life, why would I carry, right, my past? Why would I bring my past into the present moment? Why would I carry this 500 rock around my ankle with me to the rest of my life? Why? It's not serving me.
True.
It's not serving me.
100%. I agree. What are some tips you can share with our listeners to help them navigate through divorce? If there's someone out there that is going through a divorce, just a few tips you can share.
You know what? Reach out for help. I wanted that you are not alone. We are here for you, Katrina. You need foundation, the basic. You need a really strong, powerful support system right off the bat. Right off the bat, because it's so much easier. You have someone to lean on. You have someone to talk to. You can express your feelings, your emotions, because for us men, it's hard. Yeah. It's really hard to express the way we feel, the way we act. What happens is, for us men, the society teaches us to be strong, to be tough, not to shed a tear, but emotionally inside, we are self-destructing. We are self-destructing. And we got to put an end to this. There are resources. This is one of my goals. I am creating, awakening community of support for men and women out there. What are some of my tips? Like I said, number one, seek help, seek support. Don't and please do not think what other people's opinions will be.
Right.
You know what? If you ask for help, it doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that you're strong, that you care about yourself, that you love yourself. Do it for you. Because you know what? No one out there really cares. Exactly. You are on your own.
Exactly.
No one will come and save you.
Yes, because we're responsible for ourselves. But we do need help at times.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't blame anyone.
Yeah.
Don't blame anyone, out there for your life circumstances. You are in control of your life. You are in charge. No one else is out there. If you don't make those right decisions like I haven't done, now they're costing me thousands of dollars. And that's why I want to save you. Make those best decisions. Hire the best attorney. Hire the best financial advisor. Have a therapist. Have a coach. Whoever you need. Because you know what? Yeah, you will invest in yourself up front. But you know what? You're going to set yourself up nicely for the future.
Absolutely. Those were some very great tips. I hope you audience out there, I hope you guys were taking notes. He has shared some really good information. So I know that the divorce was a very big challenge, life challenge for you. I don't know if that was your biggest life challenge, but share with us the biggest life challenge that you've dealt with and what you learned from it. And that might be it. We probably already talked about it.
Yeah, I would say divorce was one of my biggest challenges, hitting the rock bottom. And you know what? Rebuilding myself, healing myself, rebuilding my self-image, finding self-confidence within me, finding a purpose in my life. Mm-hmm. Because many people are walking around like zombies. They are numb. They do not know what they want in their life. There are so many people that are very gifted, that are very talented, and they do not, utilize their tools. Like Les Brown says, the graveyard is the richest place on earth. And why is that? Because so many great men and women have died, have transcended our beautiful world. Because what happened? Because fear has stopped them. Mm-hmm. Fear has stopped them. Other people's opinions have stopped them from utilizing their gifts, their talents, their potential.
Right.
So please, don't stop yourself. Don't allow other people's opinions define you.
Right.
Go after what your heart desires.
Right.
Follow your intuition.
Right. And that's the thing. I love that quote by Les Brown also, because basically what he's saying is you take your gifts and your talents and all of that you have with you to the grave. When you don't use it. So again, I just commend you for turning your pain into purpose. And I've heard other stories of people doing the same. I've done the same. So in closing, you've just given us some great tips, and you've been inspiring us this whole segment, this whole episode. But do you have any other words of wisdom, inspiration, just to share with the listeners as we close out this episode? Something to help them live their best life. Just words of inspiration.
You know what? What I would like to tell you to our listeners right now that are in their cars, in their homes, in their offices, listening to our podcast, I want to tell you that you know what? I love you. I care about you, that you are loved, you are worthy, you are beautiful, you deserve the best lifestyle. You really do. And I care about you. I believe in you. And please do not hesitate to reach out to me, ask for help, I will help you heal your broken heart and reawaken your spirit. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marcin, for that. I'm sure the audience got a lot out of that. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story. How can people find you? Where can people find you online and find out more about your services?
First, I would go to my website. It's www.coachmarcin.com. I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram. I am on LinkedIn under Marcin Łapczyński. You can call me as well, 773-805-6861.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm going to also put your contact information in my notes on the podcast so that people can also look there for it as well. Again, I thank you so much for giving me that opportunity to interview you and so that you could share with the audience. And I would love to have you on the show maybe, I don't know, a year down the line, maybe. Maybe we can do this again or maybe sooner and just kind of talk about, yes, and kind of talk more about how people can shift their mindsets. That would be a great topic, I think, because we touched on mindset a little bit. But yeah, I would love to maybe have you on the show at a later date.
Sounds good. Thank you, Katrina, for the opportunity, for allowing me to use your platform to share my story, because we do not know who's out there going through exactly the same thing that needed to hear today's podcast. Thank you for everything that you do, for such a phenomenal work that you do, that you're such a phenomenal woman, how you give back to our community, to our society. I'm very grateful for you that God has connected us together, that we are together changing, inspiring, helping our communities and society, because, help is very much needed. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you, Marcin. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks again for listening. You can find me online at katrinajohnson.online, at I am Katrina Johnson on Instagram, and on YouTube, Katrina Johnson Inspires at The Katrina Johnson Show. Until next time, stay inspired.